across southeastern Wisconsin. Storm Team 4 meteorologist Brendan Johnson tells Wisconsin's Midday News the primary threat now is freezing drizzle.
A lot of us no longer seeing snow. Rather, the freezing drizzle is an issue this afternoon, and especially northwest where all this lake effect's been.
Our winter weather advisory runs until 4 o'clock this afternoon. Your complete WTMJ 5-day forecast coming up in just minutes here. Right now, though, let's turn to money and the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. A good Monday on Wall Street so far. The S&P 500 is up nearly 32 points to 5,974. NASDAQ is up more than 200 points to 19,823. And the Dow is up, not even a point. But it's getting there. It just went up. Actually, it just went up 8 points to 42,740. See, just like that. It can change. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth. Annex Private Client. Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited. WTMJ News Time is 1:04.
This report sponsored by the Fireside Theater, the ultimate Elvis tribute musical.
Push one for the money, two for the show, three to get ready now. Go, cat, go.
Elvis is back in the building at the Fireside Theater in Fort Atkinson, and you've never seen anything like it.
Since my baby left me, I found a new place to dwell.
Back in the building features a rotating cast of the finest award-winning Elvis tribute artists and Anne Margaret, all backed by an incredible live band and ensemble. Experience the eras of Elvis in this legendary feel-good show. From the 50s to the movies, the 60s comeback to the rockin' 70s. It's all here.
Oh, see right up.
Every ticket to the Fireside includes a superb dinner prepared by award-winning chefs and a chance to visit their spectacular gift shops. Hurry, tickets are going fast. Call 920-563-9505 or visit firesidetheater.com. Elvis back in the building, live on stage, January 9th through February 23rd. Only at the Fireside Theater.
This change has leveled us up while being able to maintain the same quality of service that we've always provided, with no upfront fees and 1.9% real estate commission. We're proud to be part of the Century 21 family, so you can move fearlessly with the added confidence of top-of-the-line marketing for maximum home exposure. And that means more eyeballs and the real potential for the highest price for your home. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated. First off, our 1.9% commission structure helps get their foot in the door, and that's why agents like working here. But what they really like is having the strongest marketing tools available, with the resources to help them sell homes at the highest prices to satisfy their clients. Century 21 Benefit Realty offers what agents like most, and that's to help them be successful. If you really want to believe in the business model that you're representing, give me a call. I'm Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty. Call me, and let's talk about your future. Each office is independently owned and operated.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. The playoffs are set. The Packers will take the field Sunday in Philadelphia against the Eagles. Green Bay qualifies as the number 7 seed in the NFC. Something to watch for this week, the status of Jordan Love's elbow injury that forced him from Sunday's loss to the Bears.
Yeah, I landed on it on the ground, I think. Kind of pretty much lost all feeling in my hand and it's pretty much just went numb.
Sunday's game is a 3:30 kick from Lincoln Financial Field. The Detroit Lions qualify as the number 1 seed in the NFC. They'll have a first-round playoff bye. In college basketball, the Wisconsin Badgers continue Big Ten play tonight at Rutgers for a 6 o'clock tip. Badgers Sports Updates sponsored by Siding Unlimited. Siding and a whole lot more. Let's check out the roads now with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. We're doing okay. I want to let you know, give you an update here in Kenosha County. We had a crash on 4194 North just beyond the Illinois state line. That has now cleared, so some good news there. We do still have one incident in Ozaukee County. There's pavement damage on I-43 South near Mequon Road, and because of that, the left lane is closed. And here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Today, partly cloudy and breezy. Some of you seeing snow, others seeing no snow. We have up to an inch of snow lakeside north, 1 to 3 inches near the lake in Milwaukee, and 3 to possibly more than 6 near the lakefront south. High of 29 today. Tonight, partly cloudy. We'll dip down to 17. Tuesday, partly sunny. A high of 26. Wednesday, partly cloudy and cold, a high of 22. Thursday, break out the sunglasses. We'll have a high of 28, but it's going to be mostly sunny. Friday, mostly cloudy and a slight chance for snow in the PM hours, high of 28. It is currently 27 degrees in Port Washington, 31 in Kenosha, and 27 here in downtown Milwaukee. I'm Jessica Ty. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 108.
65,498 square miles. We've got a lot to cover, so let's get to it. This is Spanning the State, and here are your hosts, Kristin, Brey, and Brian Noonan.
Good afternoon. I'm back in the studio. Brian's back in the studio. It's actually the official 2025 is here.
I thought maybe this would not happen today. The forecast was not good.
Oh yeah.
And so I thought, no, I have to make it at least the first day. I can't have a snow day this early in the season.
Well, maybe.
I don't know. It was.
You were just saying, as far as what sounds like you may be driving through, could not be fun this afternoon.
Coming up this morning, and everybody went through this. Nobody special. It was freezing rain from the minute my car pulled out of the garage to the time I got to about the state line. Then from state line, Pleasant Prairie was dicey with snow. Kenosha, the entire southbound lanes were closed because of people spitting out on the bridges. Then as I got through Racine, it was still pretty dicey. Got a little better as I got into Milwaukee, but it was a nice 2-hour commute this morning. So I was like,
happy Monday.
yes.
Well, it is not a happy Monday for Packer fans, but I imagine, were you celebratory yesterday?
Oh, come on. The Bears beat the Packers' second and third stringers. It was ridiculous. And I had actually tweeted out moments before once the Bears fumbled and the Packers scored, I was like, here we go. The Bears are going to do what the Bears do, and a loss was guaranteed.
I genuinely thought, because I actually was spending most of the day working yesterday, so I was following the score, but I wasn't watching the game intently. And so, obviously we're down almost the entire game. I was like, well, don't miss. Happy that I chose to be productive instead of watch this. And then to see them have a glimmer of hope to come back and still win at the very end of the fourth quarter was like, well, this sounds about right. But you guys pulled it out.
No, especially since the Packers back earlier in the season had blocked a field goal to beat the Bears. I was like, it's going to happen again. So, this season, I don't care. I don't care if the Bears had beat the Packers and then actually taken over Lambeau. You wouldn't hear me crowing. The season was awful. There's nothing to be happy about except, okay, they got to 5 wins out of a 16, 17-game season. So that's good, I guess. But anytime, and I'll tell you this, if I was a Packers fan, I would be livid that they had Jordan Love play at all against the Bears.
For a game that didn't matter.
For a game that absolutely did not matter. Absolutely didn't matter. But, so, yes, you could say I'm not a fair weather fan. I don't take joy in something that means nothing.
Got it. Got it.
So that was that.
That was that.
That was that. I am very excited today that there was a snowstorm in Washington. That kind of kept all the marauders away from the Capitol. I'm sure there was going to be another insurrection, right?
I don't think that there was going to be another insurrection.
Think the Democrats would insurrect?
Well, it is not. Did you see Hakeem Jeffries as I forgot exactly what procedural thing he was doing, but it was basically announcing, Donald Trump had won, and then he on the floor said, because we are not the party of election deniers.
Nice.
It just laid it out there. But yes, indeed, it is happening today.
Where were you when the insurrection was happening?
I was in Milwaukee. My story with this is why I'm out of the prediction game is the fact that I was on Steve's show that morning, and Steve asked me, well, what do you think is going to happen today? How crazy do you think it's going to get? And my response was, I don't think it's going to get any crazier than it's been.
That was a really bad prediction.
Which was a bad take.
That was a bad take.
I was certainly wrong. Except, if you fast forward to today, enough people, don't think it was that bad.
Yeah,
And it wasn't any crazier than it had been, apparently.
But I watched it, right? We saw
we
it.
We all watched it.
Okay, we all watched. That's sometimes what I still am baffled by, and I don't want to rehash it, but it's like, what don't you believe? You saw it. that's why I get so frustrated sometimes with facts and the not believing of facts, and we don't believe our own eyes. Like, nobody told you about this secondhand, and you went, man, that sounds pretty bad. Oh, it was on TV.
It was on TV.
I remember sitting there just like, I'm guessing most people who were watching it, just stunned. I had speechless watching this thing for hours going, what is going on here?
And I think a bigger question that we don't have time to get into, because Alan Borsick is going to be joining us after the break, and we're going to talk about open enrollment in schools and something entirely different than January 6th. But in order to move forward, like we said, as Democrats are not election deniers, and they're going through all the process of transferring power, do we just have to accept that this is a stain in our history books and move forward versus relitigating it because the people spoke and the people elected Donald Trump?
Yeah, I think, well, we do have to move on and keep going. And yes, it will be, unless history is rewritten by the winners, and then it's just whitewash. But there's still enough people who have witnessed it, who have written about it, who will continue to write about it, where it won't completely
sure it'll
disappear.
be a movie someday.
I can only imagine what it's going to be. Oh, my goodness.
Note, when we come back, we are going to be talking to our friend Alan Borsick about open enrollment and the part that it plays when it comes to Wisconsin schools. Stay with us on Spanning the State.
Dinosaurs on the basketball court?
Fast today. Well, we clocked the T-Rex to 32 miles an hour.
T-Rex?
Mm-hmm.
You said you've got a T-Rex?
Uh-huh. Say again. We have a T-Rex.
Short arms aren't really an advantage in this sport.
On the dribble, LeBron takes off. Blocked by Giannis at the rim.
The Bucks head up north to take on the Raptors.
Lillard, open three.
Perfect.
Got it.
Our Bucks radio game day coverage starts tonight at 6. We are the home of the Bucks, WTMJ.
A cancer diagnosis shouldn't mean we can't make plans. It shouldn't mean living without joy or optimism. Cancer shouldn't be calling the shots. At the Frederick and the Medical College of Wisconsin Cancer Network, we're pushing to put cancer in its place by pulling together teams of leading specialists and researchers who work tirelessly for breakthroughs, who are developing innovative ways to treat every cancer, to treat your cancer. And by providing the largest cancer clinical trials treatment program in Wisconsin, so there are more treatment options and more reasons to be hopeful. So let's keep innovating. Let's keep discovering. Let's push to make every cancer diagnosis a story of survivorship and bring back the lightness of life that cancer takes away. To learn more about breakthrough cancer care, visit frederick.com/cancer.
David Nason here, your trusted Fix-It-Show guy, here to give you some essential home maintenance advice. If you're dealing with leaks, stains, cracks in your basement, it's time to call the experts I trust at Accurate Basement Repair. They've fixed many of our listeners' basements, and the results were fantastic. Dry, secure, and peace of mind restored. Don't let basement issues mess up your home. Trust Accurate Basement Repair to get the job done right. Call them today.
Thanks, David. Accurate Basement Repair. We're not just good, we're accurate.
Welcome back to Spanning the State. I'm Brian Noonan.
And I am Kristin Brey, and I just got done finishing writing yesterday about budget negotiations, which will be a big topic throughout the next 6, maybe more months. And a big part of that conversation is going to be K through 12 schools and the funding that is going to be asked for public schools versus charter schools. And there's a lot of always bickering and fighting over our school system and how things get funded. But one thing that kind of flies under the radar is open enrollment.
Yes.
And Alan Borsick recently just wrote about this. And so, Alan, welcome back to the show.
I'm pleased to be here. Thank you.
And as a reminder, for if you've never heard Alan before, he's a senior fellow in law and public policy at Marquette Law School and a longtime education reporter at the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. So I guess just as a primer, because I think a lot of people, including myself sometimes, always get this confused. What is the difference between open enrollment, vouchers, charter schools, like all of the different options when we talk about school choice in Wisconsin?
Well, we live in a school choice world, but it means more things than people realize. So the things that get the most controversy and attention and are the most dramatic as far as changes involve school vouchers, which is to say public money that's provided to students to go to private schools, including religious schools. In fact, most of them are religious schools. Charter schools, which are this kind of unusual creation of semi-independent schools. They're authorized by some government body, but they run in a self-sufficient fashion generally. And then the largest school choice program, and it's fair to use that label, is open enrollment. It's also by far the least controversial because it involves only public schools. But under Wisconsin law since the late 1990s, a student can go to a public school outside of their own school district anywhere in Wisconsin. Hypothetically, a Milwaukee child could enroll in school in, say, Superior.
Got to figure out how to get there.
Yeah,
but...
I was going to say it would create a commuting problem, perhaps, but it's perfectly legal. It's depending on certain rules, how many seats they have open, and so on. But and you have to provide your own transportation if you're a student or parent. But it's used by approaching 9% of all students in Wisconsin, which is to say roughly 70,000 kids a year. So it's very popular. Like I said, not very controversial because it's all in the public schools, but it actually has a lot of impact on many school districts. Milwaukee Public Schools being a good example of a district that loses a lot, but so does Madison, Green Bay, a few others, West Dallas, lose a lot of students who go elsewhere for any number of reasons.
Well, isn't funding for these school districts based on how many students they have? So if you have a school district that is struggling and a lot of your students choose to go to a different public school district, that can't, as you started to say, that can't be good for the lower tiered districts, I guess is a nice way to put it.
There is a lot of movement out of lower performing districts. Like I said, Milwaukee's not the only one, but Milwaukee's the prime example. Yes, they actually don't lose all of the money that they would get from public funding from state taxes or from property taxes, but they lose most of it. And the receiving districts get most of it, but not as much as they would get with a student. So it's not entirely attractive to the receiving districts, but particularly if it helps them fill what would otherwise be vacant seats, they can make money on it. So the example I used in the story that was in the Journal Sentinel, and I've used it in the past, is St. Francis. I'm not talking about a private Catholic school or something. It's a public school district on the South Shore in Milwaukee, where roughly 50% of the students, more than 50% at the high school and about 45% in the whole district, are open enrollment students, most of them from Milwaukee. So you've got more kids going to St. Francis High School who don't live in St. Francis than who do live in St. Francis.
Is there any other school that's like that? I mean, maybe you haven't looked at all of the schools in Wisconsin.
There's a researcher from UW-Oshkosh named Mike Ford, very good, smart guy. He did a paper just recently, which is what prompted the story that I wrote for the Journal Sentinel. He listed 10, but several of them were very tiny, and several of them also, this also involves kids who enroll in virtual schools, which isn't a huge number, but it's a growing number. So if I enroll from my home in the Milwaukee area into the virtual school in McFarland, Wisconsin, which has several thousand students, I never have to go to McFarland, which is just outside of Madison, but I'm counted as a McFarland public school student. So that virtual element is also growing. But you're basically right, Brian, that if students are money, are vitality, and you lose students, you lose some money, you lose some vitality.
And going back to because this confused me a little bit, when you went back to property taxes, a lot of this confuses me. So I'm in a Milwaukee
Me too.
school district. I'm paying my taxes to go to the Milwaukee schools. But all of a sudden, a lot of these Milwaukee students are deciding to go, let's say, to Wauwatosa, whatever. Where are my taxes going with them? Are my taxes still going to the schools that are struggling? Where do my taxes go?
Basically, somewhat of both.
Okay.
That money does go with them to, say, Tosa, and Tosa does have a large number of open enrollment students. I forget the numbers now, but something like almost 40% of the districts in Wisconsin have more than 20% of their students in open enrollment, or more than 10%. Sorry, I didn't bring the number with me. So Tulsa has a lot, West Dallas has a lot, whatever. Some of the money goes to Tulsa. Your state aid goes with them, but that's state aid. It's not, and your property taxes to some degree, I suppose you could say, go with them. But if you're paying taxes to educate these kids, then good news, you're educating the kids.
So ultimately, who
just happens to be in some other school district.
Who does this benefit? Like who's winning by having open enrollment? Because it seems like it adds a lot of confusion, a lot more bookkeeping as far as following the money and who gets what. I also, with a young child, may want to use this someday. So I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but as far as when we look back, now that it's been over 20 years that we've been doing it, what are the benefits of it that we're like, this is working?
Mike Ford, the researcher from Oshkosh, summed it up by saying it's very popular. It's popular with parents. It's even popular with a lot of school districts because they can bring in extra kids. St. Francis, using that example again, would have much less vitality if it didn't have those kids. As far as academic benefits, you could say that it's good for the kids who go. They're going generally they're going for 1,000 reasons, but in many cases it's because they think it's a better high school. Kids are picking, to be blunt, St. Francis High School over their attendance area school in Milwaukee, which would be Bayview, and Bayview is not a popular choice of people who live in Bayview. So is it confusing? Is it bureaucratic? Yes. Is it popular? Definitely yes. Does it help academically? A lot of individual kids, but not in the big picture.
Okay. Well, that's what I wanted to know. Is there any indication that seeing all these kids go to different districts for school, is it spurring districts like Milwaukee and Madison and Green Bay to up their game, or are they just content to say, well, there's a lot of kids whose parents aren't going to drive them somewhere else to school, so we're going to stand pat?
That's a tough question to answer because I think a lot of school districts feel like they're helpless or very passive about this. What can I say? I'll be a little more provocative, maybe. If I were running,
yes, please.
Oh, yes.
Hot takes, Alan.
If I were running MPS for the last 20 or 25 years, I would be trying to go after that question a lot more than they did. What can we do to be the school district of choice?
Yeah.
And not have people leaving for the whole tier of school districts on the south side, Tulsa, West Dallas, Elmbrook, Menominee Falls, you name it, and also virtual schools. Why are they leaving us, and what can we do about it?
Well,
they know that people are leaving them, but they don't do too well at asking what can we do about it.
Well, that's the thing.
The big question I want to ask you, but we're not going to have time to get into it because we only have a minute left. So we'll actually do want to have you back because I feel like this is going to be a big year for MPS. You also recently wrote about how few people are running for school board.
Oh, man.
How there still is not a permanent superintendent. And so we'll have you back, Alan, to talk about if you were in charge, what would you do to fix MPS? Because I feel like you might have some ideas.
I hate that question. It's not easy to answer. And I might add, if you say it's a big year for MPS, yes. Looming as a good year, no.
Yeah.
There's so many problems there.
All right. Well, as always, lovely having you here, Alan.
It's great to talk to you, Alan. Thanks.
Glad to be here.
Alan Borsick is a senior fellow in law and public policy at Marquette Law School. Stay with us. We'll be back after this.
Throughout history, some people have been born into greatness because of their name or family. Others gained greatness because of their actions. On Wisconsin's Morning News, we celebrate everyday heroes, the John or Jane Doe who had no idea when they woke up one morning they'd be saving a life. Everyday Heroes, Thursday at 6:40 on Wisconsin's Morning News. Presented by Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living, transforming the culture of care.
I know you have a great dog, right? But you know there's room for improvement. At Sit Means Sit Dog Training, we can help. Our attention-based training system uses modern technology to help you better communicate with your dog, even in high distraction. When you schedule a free consultation with us, you will have the opportunity to see our training in action and meet for yourself our happy dogs off leash and under control. Contact Sit Means Sit today at 262-361-3641 or find us on the web at sitmeansitwaukesha.com to schedule your free consultation so you can have a happy, confident, and obedient dog.
Get the help you need Saturday morning with How To Radio. At 7, it's the WTMJ Fix-It Show with David Nason, featuring great tips on how to operate your home. At 9, plan your dream vacation with the Fox World Travel Show. At 10, get financial guidance during Money Talk. Contact Annex Wealth Management for an unbiased review of your investments at annexwealth.com. How To Radio, Saturday mornings on WTMJ.
A Blaine's Farm and Fleet original story.
These are going to be the best pancakes ever.
Let's see. Griddle, mixing bowls, and birdseed.
For the world's first pancake bird feeder snowman. Ta-da!
For home-cooked breakfasts, special bird feeders, and more, we've got the value you need to do things your way. Like Blaine's brand suet cakes, 99 cents for rewards members. Plus, rewards members get free same-day delivery on pet orders of $49 or more. Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Being original.
Too bad you're not here during the commercial breaks. We continued our conversation with Alan Borsak. Lots to get to, so we'll definitely have it back very soon. It's I'm glad I'm past all the school.
Did Molly do public schools?
Molly did public schools.
So CPS?
No. She started at LA Unified.
Okay, of course.
And then she came back and she was in South Suburban School District.
Okay.
Which is why we moved to when we moved back from LA, that's why we moved to this town, because of their schools.
Okay, so you're just outside of Chicago. You're not in
now I live
now you're in Chicago,
I live
Chicago.
in the city.
Okay.
But when Molly was young, when we moved back from LA, we were out in the suburbs. And we again picked that suburb because the grade schools and the high school was highly rated, and that was it. We paid an unbelievable amount of property taxes, which, had we lived somewhere else instead of a private school, it probably would have evened out. But
oh, really?
Yeah. But but she did well, and we were happy with the schools for the most part. I think no matter where your kids go, you're going to have some nits to pick with the schools, but
or specific teachers.
Not the teachers so much, just like guidance counselors and telling really smart kids that they shouldn't go away to school. That was weird.
That's interesting. All right, ABC News and local headlines are next.
This is a special report from ABC News. Congress formalizes election. I'm Michelle Franzen. Lawmakers wrapping up a joint session today, receiving state electoral results from the 2024 election.
Pursuant to the Constitution,
Vice President Harris began the proceeding, which lasted just 30 minutes.
Madam President.
In alphabetical order, the electoral votes from each of the states were read aloud. Republicans cheered whenever a Trump-won state was announced. Democrats did the same when electors for Harris were read. The final word came from her.
Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida has received 312 votes.
Members of both parties gave Harris a standing ovation. Her formal declaration of the tally tees up Trump's inauguration 2 weeks from today. Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
Security was heightened today 4 years after rioters stormed the U.S. Capitol trying to stop Congress from finalizing results in the 2020 election. President Biden, in a Washington Post op-ed today, urged Americans not to forget democracy was tested, he says, and prevailed. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 1:31. I'm Jessica Ty. School is back in session today in the Sussex-Hamilton School District for the first time since last week's tragic accident. A 4K student was hit by a school bus and killed outside Silver Spring Intermediate on Thursday. Therapy dogs were on site at the school this morning, and they'll visit again tomorrow. The search for a man wanted in connection to 3 deaths at a home in New Lisbon has now expanded across the state. Authorities believe Virgil Thu may have left western Wisconsin. The woman found dead in the home has been identified as Elizabeth Kolba. The 2 kids found dead were 12 and 13. And President Joe Biden signs into law a measure that boosts Social Security payments for current and former public employees. The change impacts nearly 3 million people who receive pensions from their time as teachers, firefighters, police officers, and in other public service jobs. Advocates say the Social Security Fairness Act rights a decades-old disparity, but it will also put strain on Social Security trust funds. Time for news about your money. Here's the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. We're still doing good on Wall Street right now. The Dow is up 38 points to 42,770. S&P 500 is up nearly 34 points to 5,976. And the NASDAQ is up 211 points to 19,832. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Let's get you an update on the roads now with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. We are still dealing with one incident in Ozaukee County. That's the only thing that's on the board right now. Pavement damage on I-43 South, right around Mequon Road. Left lane is closed because of that. Once again, there's some damage to the pavement on I-43 South near Mequon Road. And here's the WTMJ 5-day forecast. The winter weather advisory has been canceled. Some of you thinking a winter weather advisory. I didn't see any snow today. Some of you didn't, but others did. Bottom line, that winter weather advisory has been canceled at this point. We're going to dip down to 17 degrees tonight, partly cloudy. Tomorrow, partly sunny, high of 26. Wednesday, partly cloudy and cold, a high at 22. Thursday, break out the sunglasses. It's going to be sunny, high at 28. Friday, mostly cloudy. We do have a slight chance for some snow in the evening hours, high of 28 on Friday. It is currently 27 degrees in Port Washington, 31 in Kenosha, and 29 here in downtown Milwaukee. I'm Jessica Ty. Outdoor Living Unlimited. WTMJ News Time is 1:34.
Fingers come in different sizes,
It's one of the first things you learn as a jeweler,
and a ring can only be sized up or down a little bit.
which means it's a really good thing to know your ring size.
And it's an even better thing to know their ring size.
This is why we're announcing
The Ring Size Registry at Kessler's.
we're doing it as a public service. It's completely free.
Free. Isn't that a great price?
Here's how it works.
Just drop into any Kessler's Diamonds location and tell one of the owners that you'd like to know your ring size.
Kessler's is an employee-owned company, so whoever greets you at the door is an owner.
They'll determine your ring sizes and add them to our Ring Size Registry.
Then, when someone wants to know your ring size,
Because, maybe they want to surprise you.
all they have to do is call or stop into Kessler's.
Surprises can be fun, don't you think?
We're happy to do this for you, even if you don't buy a ring from us.
But after you take a look around, we think you probably will. Visit KesslersDiamonds.com for a location near you and register your ring sizes today.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here, asking you to join me in October as my wife and I explore the magical kingdoms of Southeast Asia, from the villages of Vietnam and the temples of Cambodia to the friendly locals of Laos and the beachside resort in stunning, lively Thailand. I hope you'll join us for this unforgettable journey. Ancient and mysterious worlds of rural landscapes, bustling cities, and fascinating history in Vietnam. Explore the Chu Chi tunnels used by the Viet Cong. Experience a street food adventure through Hanoi and cherish the serenity of Hai Long Bay on a beautiful boat ride. Bangkok in Thailand, the beaches in Thailand, history, tradition, food. If you'd like more information on this great trip, send me an email. john.mercure@wtmj.com. john.mercure@wtmj.com. It's Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos. I'm super jazzed about this trip. Send me an email. I send you the info. john.mercure, MERCURE, @wtmj.com.
Slipping on the ice?
Ugh.
Someone else shoveling your driveway.
Ah.
Cold feet?
Ugh.
Toasty tootsies.
Ah.
Waking up to a cold house?
Ugh.
With no warm air coming from the register.
Ugh.
And discovering your antiquated furnace is DOA.
Ugh.
But now, this is you learning that Mr. Holland's Home Services can install a new, fully warranted, highly efficient comfort system.
Ah.
Better yet, you can enjoy consistent, cozy comfort with payments as low as $79 a month with approved credit.
Ah.
Because you deserve it.
Ah.
If your failing furnace is showing signs of old age, be proactive. Call Mr. Holland's Home Services to schedule the installation of your brand new, fully functional comfort system for a low monthly rate. And take your winter from
Ugh.
to 866-992-1717. Or visit MrHollandsHomeservices.com. Ready to put some thought in your we can help.
¿Me prestas tu caña de pescar?
Caña de pescar. Está muy frío, ¿que no? ¿Para qué?
Pues es ice fishing.
Ice fishing.
Yes, ice fishing. Welcome back. It's Spanning the State. I'm Brian Noonan.
And I am Kristin Brey, and an independent film by a Wisconsin filmmaker is getting some good buzz following a big win at the Wisconsin Film Festival. The movie's called February, and it's a movie that shows a slice of life in western Wisconsin, and it was recently honored with the festival's Golden Badger Award. But this movie, February, is only one of what writer and director Nathan Deming hopes to be a series of 12 movies. So Nathan joins us now to tell us about the entire vision of the whole project that could take the next 15 years.
Yeah. Hi,
Welcome.
guys.
Glad you're here.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
So congratulations. And
Thank you.
so this is the second of hopefully 12
Yes.
movies. There was a January short film that was 24-ish
Yeah, about 25
minutes.
minutes long, yeah.
And this one's called February, so I think we can assume what the titles for the next 10 movies are going to be.
Yeah, March is next, yeah.
But what is the big vision of this project?
I'm calling it the Year Project. It's my big dream to make a film for every month of the year, all set in Wisconsin. And then each one is going to be different characters. I kind of have an arc I want to tell, but mainly I want to explore the state, different stories, just see it through completely different eyes. So January is about this kind of older white church volunteer, and then February is about a young Mexican immigrant. So already, like, we have like
very different,
big contrast there, and I'm going to keep doing that for the next,
So this seems like a Herculean undertaking to do all these films. Were you? What brought this out? Where did the inspiration come from? Because 12 films, most people are excited if they can make one film. You've got it all laid out for, as you said, maybe 15 years.
Yeah, well, so yeah, it is a big vision. I think it'd be really fun. Like, my dream is that it's like every few years you guys will hear from me and you'll be like, oh, he's on April. Oh, he's on June, and I can tell this bigger story, But yeah, there's other filmmakers Linklater did Boyhood. That's one movie that he did over like 12 years. And there's a lot of filmmakers I love who tell stories through anthologies. And so, yeah.
And so do you have all 12 stories kind of mapped out, or do they evolve after you've learned, like you finish a movie, what you've learned from the process of making that movie, and then write the next script, or what's the process?
Yeah, that's I think part of the fun of it is I can totally pivot if I want to. But so far I know I have a vision up till June, like I'm really excited about doing, and then I know what December is. But I think there's going to be a really exciting discovery process. I'm really excited to figure it out. Like, I'll be 10 years older and doing October. I think it'll be really fun.
And so the February takes place in Tomah, which is your hometown, right?
Yeah, I'm from Tomah. We shot in both Tomah and Eau Claire. I guess we're kind of doing like a nameless Wisconsin town.
Okay.
But yeah, it's kind of Tomah. We have like some, if people know Tomah, like we filmed in the Cash Store on Superior Avenue. There's like some recognizable Tomah landmarks.
But will you always be in a nameless small town Wisconsin, or will you do a Madison, a Green Bay, a Milwaukee story?
I'll be a little coy and say,
okay.
I want this to be about the state. So I'm going to kind of expand things as it goes along. So yeah, March already kind of goes a little bit further. So.
Okay.
Other than being from here, what makes Wisconsin a good backdrop for your series?
That's a good question. Well, so I guess I can answer that in a silly way, which is that I studied at the London Film School with this British filmmaker named Mike Leigh, if you guys know him.
I don't.
Secrets and Lies, Vera Drake. He's one of my favorite filmmakers. It was so cool to kind of be there and learn a little bit from him. But he is such a good documentarian. He's a narrative filmmaker, but I mean a documentarian of British life.
Okay.
And like you watch his films, and more than a lot of there's a lot of great British filmmakers, but you watch them and you always feel like you see England at the time that he was making that. So that's my dream too, is that I could kind of do that for here, because I love character. That's the other thing I like about this concept, is it gives me an excuse to kind of tell character-driven stories rather than just like this one has a story. It's about a Mexican immigrant trying to fit in and then finding ice fishing. There's a story there.
Yeah.
But with the concept, I get to kind of slow things down more. There's subplots in the background. The little kid has a cold. Plenty of things. People, when they think about February, they'll think about, like, oh my God, it's the worst time of year. You're just waiting for things to thaw and get better. Yeah, like you're going through your 7th cold of the season. Like,
yeah, seriously.
Yeah,
everyone's sick right now, as we've said multiple times. So, what do you think it is about this February, not the month, the movie, that has resonated? It's like we said, you just won at the Wisconsin Film Festival. So what is it? Is it the story itself? Is it the filmmaking? Like, what do you think that you learned from making this one that you'll take into the next to have it resonate with audiences?
Yeah, I would think it's not the month because people don't love the month.
February, Wisconsin, baby.
Although that's a bit of a joke because I think people do actually like seeing, the winter. Winter looks so beautiful on screen. We had our DP's from Milwaukee, Leo Perman.
Wow.
Yeah,
Nice.
so he did a fantastic job the way he set up a lot of our landscapes. Just beautiful. But I think, sorry, ask me your question one more time.
Now I can't even remember.
What'd you learn from this one that you'll
for
take
this
on
one
to the
being
next one?
as
February.
received so well.
Yes.
Oh,
What do
yes.
you think?
Oh, well,
what do you think's resonating, and what are you going to take to continue?
I think there's
forward?
two aspects. Two of the main ideas I think have resonated with people. Like, been so excited about the Latino response to it. That was really fun to kind of tell a story. Half the movie's in Spanish. So I thought that was really fun to see a Wisconsin story with a completely different language that is spoken all over the state, but you don't immediately think of it. There's tons of Latinos here. Most of the cast in this movie is Latino. So I think it was really fun for people to see our state through slightly different eyes than you normally see. And on top of that, people love ice fishing. So I on our film's social page, I'll just post little clips from the film of ice fishing and people go nuts. So, yeah.
All right. So you're on a tour right now. So there's currently, we can't say it in Milwaukee, but other places in Wisconsin people can see the movie?
Yeah, we're still filling out our list, but we're taking February on the road in February next month. And if they can go to februaryfilm.com/screenings to see the fully updated list. We're definitely hitting Milwaukee at some point, just locking down the venue. We do have a show coming up at the end of the month in Appleton at a place called the Photo Op. That's on January 25th. Every showing's free. We're just excited about connecting with people, them telling us their stories. Hopefully, Latinos telling us their stories about being an immigrant in Wisconsin. Hopefully, ice fishermen telling us about ice fishing. I just want to kind of have fun connecting with people over this.
Now, are your friends in Los Angeles, do they have any comprehension of ice fishing? When they saw your film, are they like, why are people sitting out on a frozen lake?
I was just talking to David. He's the lead of the film. He's from Los Angeles, and I didn't know this. He didn't tell me this until recently. He had no idea what ice fishing was.
He signed up for this movie. He's like, yes, I'll play this role. I do not know what ice fishing is.
Yeah, so he was joking.
Actors want to act.
Yeah, he said he went method with it, so yeah.
All right. Well, the movie is called February. Give the website one more time.
You can find screenings at februaryfilm.com/screenings.
All right. Writer, director, Nathan Deming, thank you so much. This is fascinating.
Thanks so much for having me.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
All right. We'll have more after this on Spanning the State.
If you're looking to build or remodel, then check out the 2025 Metropolitan Builders Association Home Building and Remodeling Show, presented by Nuns, January 10th through the 12th at State Fair Park. Learn about the latest home building and remodeling trends from over 150 MBA industry experts. For more information and tickets, visit mbahomeshow.com. If building and remodeling is on your to-do list in 2025, then don't miss the MBA Home Building and Remodeling Show this weekend at State Fair Park.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here. Painting is the easiest way to breathe new life into your home. I know because we did it with CertaPro Painters. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Let the pros there help you choose the right color to your home. You're going to love it for years to come. Call your neighborhood CertaPro Painter. Ask about their color consultation services. Schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. When choosing a painting professional, the choice is simple. Choose happy. Choose CertaPro Painters.
Eggland's Best, the only eggs with more fresh and delicious taste, plus superior nutrition. Eggland's Best, better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
I'm Brett Matchke, and you're due for service.
Richlands.
It's like being trapped in a cage. And I know, that sounds dramatic, but your breathing triangle problem has got you trapped. And once you're freed, you're going to be able to live the life that you're missing out on. Now, this can simply mean experiencing the true pleasure of breathing freely. It will mean better sleep and more energy. And the worry of this problem anymore affecting your life is going to be gone. Because in almost every case, when Advent has solved a breathing triangle problem, it's a one and done. Because we're not in the business of delivering Band-Aids. We want to fix your nasal breathing problem for good. We don't want you to be a lifelong patient. We want you to be our next success story.
Isn't it time you break free from that cage? Take the next step. Go to AdventKnows.com to schedule your appointment because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Breathe well with simple solutions. AdventKnows.com.
Results may vary. Most insurance accepted.
It's here on consignment from over 10,000 nationwide partners. From very high-end, distinctive furniture, unique antiques and original art, to tasteful home decor that can fit almost any budget. Premium home decor priced right at 25 to 40% off retail prices. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor at a value. Design Exchange in Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
Smart interior designers know that what they'll see here is going to be almost impossible to find anywhere else, especially at our consignment prices. Premium home decor that's gently loved and close to new. And what we carry can raise the wow factor of anyone's home decor. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor at a value. Design Exchange in Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
Very mellow.
Very mellow. Spanning the state. I'm Kristin Brey.
I'm Brian Noonan. Well, this is very exciting. Another thing that causes cancer. One day it's beef, one day it's coffee, one day it's this, one day it's that. Now they're hitting a little close to home. The Surgeon General, Dr. Vivek Murthy, the other day is calling for cancer risk warnings on alcohol after a report cites studies linking alcoholic beverages to more than a half dozen malignancies, including breast cancer. I find it hard to believe that alcohol has been around for centuries. We're just figuring this out? Or is this another one where, like, alcohol being pillarized for pregnant women one day and then the next day, well, all right, you can have one. All right, two, but no, now don't have any. So, yes, according to the Centers for Disease Control, Kristin, alcohol consumption is the third leading preventable cause of cancer in the United States after tobacco and obesity. So I got 2 out of 3 going. This is exciting. According to the report released by his office, it increases the risk for at least 7 types of cancer. I'm gonna blame the ladies for this one.
Why?
Because, the women's drinking has become a greater concern in the country than men's drinking.
Yeah.
You ladies are starting to, hit the hit the wine
there's a lot of merch
hard.
you can get for it too. It's like it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah,
or this is my mommy juice, and a lot of
juice
jokes
I don't get.
around
Yes.
drinking as a woman.
Yes, so they're saying moderation maybe is okay, but then they say no. I know you enjoy a cocktail, as do I. There's no shame in it. It's legal. Does this warning change your mind at all about having a
It's
cocktail?
something that so here's my thing with drinking. I feel like I've talked about this on air before. I am someone who 1 turns into 4 very quickly.
Oh.
And so this month I'm not drinking.
Okay.
I am hoping for this year to drink a lot less. To just not drink at all Sunday through Thursday, to only drink if I'm going to drink anything on the weekends, even then. And this is not, it's for health things, but it's mostly just because everyone I know who doesn't drink talks about clarity of mind, energy, sleeping better, all of these things as far as, for me, when I think about all of the things that I'm balancing in my life between this job, Journal Sentinel, Frankie, everything else I ever have going on, it's like, well, it sounds kind of nice to have more energy. And so that is my motivation right now, because ultimately I do know, even in the 6 days I haven't drank, I already feel better.
Really? Well, see,
but I do enjoy drinking. This is my problem. Like, I like the taste of it. I like bourbon. I like beer. I like wine. Like, I enjoy drinking. But I just am wondering if I've gotten to a point for myself where I'm like, maybe I've done enough. Maybe I've drank enough in my life.
Yeah, well, I mean, that could be. I've done dry January. I've done sober October. But I don't have that. I can have one and be
done.
good. but then I can also go on a tear. But it one doesn't necessarily lead to another. So to me, it's like, okay, there's probably so many things that are going to cause cancer. I'm not going to worry, because they say if you drink in moderation, which they define as where was it? 2 drinks maximum a day for men. I don't do that every day. I don't have 2 drinks a day. 1 drink or less for a woman, and that's where the women's drinking has become problematic. Not you, just women in general. You and your ilk all getting liquored up. But so I'm like, okay, maybe some weeks I have a few more cocktails than others. Some weeks I might not have any. So I'm not going to worry about it.
But it's interesting specifically that the call is to have the warning on the bottle in the same way that we have warnings on tobacco, because there's still smokers, right? Like it's
there
not.
Are still smokers.
I think having the information is not a bad thing. Might make you feel bad. I can tell you feel bad.
I don't feel bad. No, because I've made the decision. They can put it on there. You can put a big skull. I didn't smoke before.
Yeah.
So okay, yes, that was very good putting it on there. Maybe you'll dissuade some younger people from starting to drink, like they stopped them from smoking. But now we're legalizing cannabis, and a lot of people are smoking cannabis. We've got all these diet drugs that no one knows all the side effects yet, but that's okay. So to me, it's just another thing where, yes, it's good to have information. It's good to say, hey, a lot of drinking isn't good for you. But is that really a surprise? Do I need, if I pick up a bottle of Spotted Cow, do I need like a dead cow on there telling me that if I drink this, I could die? Or do I already know that if I put away a 5th of bourbon on a Thursday night, it's probably not the best for me?
Dead cow on Spotted Cow. That's my vote. All right. We got to take a break for the top of the hour news. And when we come back, we will spin around the state on Spanning the State.
We've all heard of Larry Bird. Allow us to introduce Derry Bird.
It's A.J. Green splashing a 3 down from the right wing on the other end of the court. It's a 1-point game. Back to A.J. A.J. going to try to answer. Off balance 3, and he hits it. How did he hit that one? The Derry Bird going deep into his bag of tricks there.
We're the home of Derry Bird and the Bucks, WTMJ.
I'm Tony Drake from Drake & Associates. Taxes in retirement could take a bigger bite out of your savings than ever before. With a rising tax environment, many retirees are worried about running out of money. At Drake & Associates, we understand those fears, and we're here to help you feel more confident about your retirement. That's why we're offering a free retirement toolkit and a copy of my book, Get Retirement Ready, to help you take control of your financial future. Don't let rising taxes catch you off guard. Text TAX to 414-897-9522 to claim your free resources. That's TAX to 414-897-9522.
Drake & Associates is an independent investment advisory firm that offers different investment vehicles. All insurance products are backed by the issuing insurance company. This commercial is provided for informational purposes only.
Traffic is brought to you by Rejuvenix, your non-surgical joint therapy experts.
David Nason here, your trusted Fix-It-Show guy, here to give you some essential home maintenance advice. If you're dealing with leaks, stains, cracks in your basement, it's time to call the experts I trust at Accurate Basement Repair. They've fixed many of our listeners' basements, and the results were fantastic. Dry, secure, and peace of mind restored. Don't let basement issues mess up your home. Trust Accurate Basement Repair to get the job done right. Call them today.
Thanks, David. Accurate Basement Repair. We're not just good, we're accurate.
Is outdoor living limited at your place? Well, imagine a deck, a patio, pergola, fire pit, maybe even an outdoor kitchen in your yard. Outdoor Living Unlimited is a local, family-owned company that consults, designs, and builds these things. They're the best. Let them make Outdoor Living Unlimited in your yard like they did in ours. We are Wisconsin. We live outdoors as much as possible. Make the most of it with help from Outdoor Living Unlimited. See OutdoorLivingUnlimited.com.
Whether you are a local who wants to enjoy a night out or you're planning to visit our great city of Milwaukee, enjoy an artfully stylish experience at St. Kate the Arts Hotel. Hey, maybe you got friends coming in from out of town. St. Kate the Arts Hotel is ideally located in the heart of the theater district in downtown Milwaukee. With deluxe accommodations, culinary creativity, on-site art galleries, and nightly live music, you and your friends will enjoy every element of your stay at St. Kate. Learn more and book your stay at stkatearts.com. That's stkatearts.com.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Ready for a win? Well, it's your year. At Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee, you could win over $2,000 in free play every month all year long. Just play your favorite games and you might take the stage in the It's Your Year game show. 25 winners each Thursday. There's $300,000 in cash and prizes up for grabs this January. Yeah, we think it's your year. More info at paysbig.com. Must be 21 years old to play.
New Year's resolution, finally do something about that old garage door. Vince Vitrano for Lifetime Door Company. Time to give the biggest door to your home the look, style, and function it demands. Our holiday guests, first thing they say when they walk in, wow, that new garage door looks really nice. Lifetime also installed a new opener. So quiet, LED lights, camera equipped. You can even run it from an app on your phone. To help fit your budget, through January, tell them Vinny sent you. They'll knock 5% off the total purchase on all service and installation. Get started at lifetimedoor.net.
If you like being prepared like I do, you know the value of a generator. When the power goes out, it's a terrible inconvenience. And that's why Quality installs effortless whole home generators that give you power when everybody else's is out. This is Anthony Zanevsky from Quality, where you'll get the signature service you deserve and whole home generators that make power outage fears subside.
Call Quality for the signature service you deserve.
Call Quality, heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric. When your pipes burst, water heater's leaking, drains backing up, or whatever your plumbing problem is, the reliable plumbers at Quality are on hand 24/7 to fix your plumbing problem with fully stocked vehicles and lightning-fast response times. This is Anthony Zanevsky. Call Quality first and get the signature service you deserve to fix your plumbing problem ASAP.
Call Quality for the signature service you deserve.
Call Quality, heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric.
Winning in the NFL comes down to the basics, blocking and tackling. In retirement, the certainty of protection and income are the keys to success. And as a former NFL player myself, I have experience with both. Hi, I'm Mitch Lyons. Having played on winning teams with the Steelers and Falcons, studying game films helped me mentally prepare for the challenges ahead. Now I star in a new Hollywood documentary called The Retirement Deception to help you visualize and prepare for your fourth quarter of life. You see, you don't retire on your nest egg, but rather the income it can produce. This film shows you exactly how to protect your retirement from stock market drops and produce more income than you thought possible. And it's free for you to view. Call 844-763-2837 right now for your free streaming code to watch The Retirement Deception. Don't risk your retirement savings at the goal line. You don't need to be risky to have a winning strategy. Call today to speak with an all-pro retirement specialist to get your free streaming code to watch The Retirement Deception. Call today, 844-763-2837. That's 844-763-2837. MitchLyonsWealth.com, your best game plan to protect, grow, and win retirement.
The Bucks travel up north to freeze the Toronto Raptors in their tracks.
Middleton fires up a three and he hits it. Cuts that deficit in half.
Our coverage begins tonight at 6. We are your home for the Bucks. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
At 2:01, it's currently 29 degrees and cloudy here in Milwaukee. I'm Julia Fellow. Tonight will be cloudy tonight with a low of 17 degrees. Tomorrow sunny with a high of 26 degrees. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, bands of lake effect snow have begun to weaken across southeast Wisconsin. Storm Team 4 meteorologist Brendan Johnson tells Wisconsin's Midday News the remainder of the winter advisory threat will be freezing drizzle for Milwaukee, Racine, and Kenosha counties.
A lot of us no longer seeing snow. Rather, the freezing drizzle is an issue this afternoon, and especially northwest where all this lake effect's been.
Now to your national news. Members of Congress have certified President-elect Donald Trump's 2024 election win. Today marks 4 years as well since Trump supporters attacked the Capitol to try to prevent the certification process in 2020.
The votes for President of the United States are as follows.
Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida has received 312 votes. Kamala D. Harris.
Now, we're hearing from the ex-girlfriend of the man who killed himself and exploded a Cybertruck outside of Trump Hotel in Las Vegas.
Investigators say it is clear from Matthew Livelsberger's own writings that he was suffering from PTSD and other mental health issues. His ex-girlfriend tells ABC News as they dated, she could see he was struggling with mental health after deployments.
He was really open about the trauma he faced and the teammates he lost. He lost a lot of teammates over the years.
In a letter on his phone, Livelsberger called the explosion a stunt. Alex Stone, ABC News.
Time for news about your money, the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow is down 32, S&P 500 up 24, NASDAQ up 176. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited News Time, 2:03.
When you work at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores, you'll be helping us help others. There are many that need our help, and we need your help to carry out our mission. St. Vincent de Paul is always looking for part-time team members. You'll get competitive pay, benefits, and flexibility in scheduling. So apply online at svdpmilw.org or stop by Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, or 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Staying active, essential for overall health. Proper medical support, essential for staying active. WTMJ's Vince Vitrano for Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Whether it's keeping a weekend warrior like me on the tennis court or keeping young athletes in the game, you want the best in sports medicine, that's OAW. Surgeons, nurses, and physical therapists help you recover from injury, avoid injury in the future, and enhance performance. Get care 7 days a week. Walk right in at an Ortho ASAP clinic or book an appointment online at orthowisconsin.com.
So how do you underpromise and still get the job? We believe in our hearts we're going to do great work for you. We're just really careful about making unrealistic promises. At Semper Fi, we refuse to set the bar higher than we can jump. But be assured, that's the goal, to do all we can to jump as high as possible to try to exceed your expectations. We're looking to break records. That's how you win over customers, get really great referrals, and build a great business. When you're making a decision to hire an exterior remodeling company, character, integrity, and the feeling that the people you're about to hire are truly eager to show you how good they are should stand at the top of your list. This is Brad Youngluth with Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company. For your new roof, siding, window and door installation, or masonry work, you can count on Semper Fi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi.
Time for a WTMJ sports update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. The playoffs are set. The Packers will take the field in Philly against the Eagles. Green Bay qualifies as number 7 seed in the NFC. Something to watch for this week, the status of Jordan Love's elbow injury that forced him from Sunday's loss to the Bears.
Yeah, I landed on it on the ground, I think. And yeah, just kind of pretty much lost all feeling in my hand and it's pretty much just went numb.
Sunday's game is now a 3:30 kickoff from Philadelphia. College basketball, the Wisconsin Badgers continue Big Ten play against Rutgers for a 6 p.m. tip. Badger Sports Updates are sponsored by Siding Unlimited, siding, and a whole lot more. Let's take a look at your roads to WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver traffic. Everything looks pretty good right now. The one thing I see is on I-43 South, about a mile past Mequon Road. The left lane is closed because there's pavement damage. Not good. Something to always look out for, especially after a big downfall like this. Your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Tonight will be cloudy with a low of 17. Tomorrow sunny with a high of 26 degrees. Cloudy and cold Wednesday with a high of 22. Thursday mostly sunny with a high of 28 degrees. Friday a slight chance of evening snow is possible. The high will be 28 degrees. In Madison, it's cloudy and 23 degrees. Green Bay, cloudy and 28 degrees. In Waukesha, mostly cloudy at 25 degrees. Outdoor Living Unlimited News Time, 2:07.
It's time to take a spin around Wisconsin and find stories you might have missed. Here's Spinning the State on Spanning the State with Kristin, Brey, and Brian Noonan.
Well, here we are. There it was not responding. I had the blue circle of death that was just spinning and spinning. But we are back. So let's figure out what's happening. And I will tell you that if you miss anything, like I seem to be missing everything on Spinning the State, you can text SPIN to 855-616-1620. All right, Kristin. It's a Monday, your first official day of the year.
First official day of the year, absolutely.
This is
Last
where
week
we're
didn't count.
restarting. All right, here we go.
Oshkosh. All right. Wisconsin's oldest operating theater building, which is on both the state and national registers of historic places, is moving forward with a $10 million renovation and expansion in downtown Oshkosh. The Grand Oshkosh, formerly the Grand Opera House, opened in 1883.
Wow.
That is an old theater. Its 500-seat auditorium hosts more than 100 performances each year, including live music, plays, and TED Talks.
Really?
Forgot that that's a thing.
Yeah.
I haven't heard of TED Talk. I haven't listened to a TED Talk in a while. Probably should revisit that.
Go check it out.
The 140-year-old Opera House is owned by the city, but it's operated by the Grand Oshkosh Incorporated, a local nonprofit. In December, the City Council unanimously approved a memorandum of understanding to split the $10 million construction cost 50-50 with the nonprofit. WPR reported that the project will include expanding the Opera House building westward to include a new front entrance with better accessibility for wheelchair users and will double the space used for the building's lounge and lobby atrium space. The main Opera House building will receive some improvements like new seats, wallpaper, and doors, but will largely be quote, untouched by the project. Construction is unlikely to begin before 2026 and is expected to take 12 to 16 months.
Well, see, they got to raise $10 million. Got to get some dough in there.
Got to get some dough.
That's exciting. All right, let's see where else we're going to land today.
Kenosha.
Oh, well, this is nice news to melt the ice and snow that's happening in Kenosha today. You've heard the saying, not all heroes wear capes. Well, it's overused, but it is true. Annetta Griffin doesn't wear a cape. She usually wears an apron, but she's no less a hero, which is why Griffin has been selected as the 2024 Kenosha News Person of the Year. Arnetta Griffin, founder of God's Kitchen of Kenosha, wakes up every day to make breakfast that she hands out to people in need of a free meal.
Aww.
Then, yes, if that wasn't enough, though, then she heads home and she makes free lunches and dinners to also give away. So she began handing out sandwiches and water to people experiencing homelessness or financial difficulties in uptown Kenosha in 2017. Ms. Griffin also hosts numerous free community-wide holiday meals, including at Easter, Thanksgiving, and Christmas, which have included clothing and gift giveaways along with free haircuts. The Kenosha News quoted Griffin, "It makes me feel good knowing that I came out here and made a difference for everyone. I wish I could put homeless people in hotels for the winter." Griffin said she had no idea that God's Kitchen would grow as it has or that she'd be getting this type of recognition. Quote, "It's really amazing, but it's not just me getting nominated for Person of the Year. It's God and this community that helps God's Kitchen all the time with their donations. I don't do it by myself. Without God and this community, I'd still be serving sandwiches." So congratulations to her.
That's great.
That's a nice story.
It is a nice story.
Yeah, we need nice stories once in a while.
All right, you think we'll have another nice story?
I can't tell you. I just have to spin the wheel of mystery.
Waukesha.
All right, Waukesha. His name is synonymous with guitars, but Rock and Roll Hall of Famer Les Paul began his musical journey playing piano in his hometown of Waukesha. According to Sue Baker, who is the program director of the Les Paul Foundation, Les Paul thought he was a better piano player than his teacher did when he was a kid. His teacher sent a note home saying he couldn't play the piano. With his mother's encouragement, though, he switched to guitar, and the rest is history. Paul is the only person to be in both the National Inventors Hall of Fame and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, according to his foundation. In an interview, Baker shared stories from Paul's life and explained the continuing work of the foundation, which includes raising funds for hearing loss research and offering grants to nonprofit groups. Paul quietly established the foundation in his name, quite a few decades ago, Baker said. He wanted it to stay dormant until he died, which was in 2009. Due to his difficult childhood, Paul instructed Baker to find kids who would really like to play the guitar but lacked the financial means to do so. Paul is buried in Waukesha because he believed the city's people were always there for him. There's a road and a middle school named after him, and a performing arts center bears his name as well. There's also 10-foot painted guitars around the city in his honor.
Pretty good news today all the way around
Yeah.
in Spinning the State.
Better than last week. Again, this is the official start of 2025. Last week was not a great start.
Well, I called 2025 out last week for starting off in a bad way.
Woof.
Might have listened a little bit. Looking better today. If you missed any of the great stories on Spinning the State, text SPIN to 855-616-1620. Don't forget, you can also catch Spinning the State and the whole show and every interview on our podcasts, which are available everywhere podcasts are given because, well, that's what people feel they're worth. But that's not true. Listen, we're giving away. It's free.
I mean, we get paid to do it.
Do we?
I mean, we get paid to do this.
All right, that's true.
It's not like we do more work for the podcast.
No, I don't have to do any work for
Rhea
the podcast.
does, but-
Rhea does the podcast work. Yes, but anyway, just all kidding aside, the podcasts are there. They're up right after the show. Some of the interviews are up right after we do them. So if you missed anything, you can check those out. And then you can always watch us too, which, half the camera you're going to be like, oh, that's nice. The other half, not so much. I'll let you figure out which is which. Just text WATCH to 855-616-1620. When we come back, there is so much more because, yes, this is Spanning the State.
Get inside the mind of Mark Tauscher.
Pancake legitimately is like, hey, are you wearing a mask today?
See the world from his perspective.
Am I really this blank and ugly that Greg Pancake Hill would look at me and say, is that a mask?
On Wisconsin's Morning News, every day at 7:50.
Must not be a great mask. This is like the Dwayne Wade statue down in Miami.
Presented by Hello Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and Kohler Services.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
Elizabeth and John bought their starter home 8 years ago, BC, as in before children. Now, with 2 elementary school-age kids, they wanted to make a move to the suburbs for a bigger home with more yard. But they didn't know if or how they could buy their next home without selling their current one. Fortunately, a friend who was a multi-time AccuNet client connected them with us, and we soon determined they could, in fact, afford to buy without selling first, which was a big relief to them and their real estate agent. Armed with an AccuNet rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval, it still took several weeks to find the right home for the next chapter in their life. But I'm happy to report that Elizabeth, John, and their boys opened their presents on Christmas morning in their new home after closing just a few days before. Whether you're buying your first home or your next home, go with the pros who have all the tools and know-how to make your home buying experience as smooth and successful as humanly possible. Get started with your rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval by clicking on the blue button at AccuNet.com. That's ACCUNET.com.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here. You business owner, I got a perfect way for you to freshen up your business. How about a fresh coat of paint? Call your neighborhood CertaPro painter. Ask about their color consultation services. I use CertaPro. They're the best. They're affordable. They're efficient. They do things the right way. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated. Homeowners, this is a way to freshen up your house like we did. Schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. That's the guys I trust. When choosing a painting professional, the choice is simple. Choose happy. Choose CertaPro Painters.
Oh, it's Spanning the State. We're already into hour 2. How time flies. I'm Brian Noonan.
And I am Kristin Brey. And there was some news that's not really news because there's such a high hurdle for it to be a thing.
Okay.
But I still am interested in it because I think it's something that comes up a lot. So this is for people at home listening or in your car or wherever you are. If you were able to organize a direct referendum, so something that the people could vote on in an election for Wisconsin law, what would it be? 855-616-1620. Because currently, only our Wisconsin legislature can propose constitutional amendments on statewide ballots. And we saw 5 last year, right? And so basically what needs to happen for those to ever show up on our ballots, which there might be more this year, it's the legislature for 2 consecutive sessions passing a bill, and then goes to a vote, and then it changes the law or the Constitution.
Mm-hmm.
In other states, I think all but 12, us being in the minority, constituents, voters, can organize to get enough signatures to get something on the ballot to vote on. So most recently I remember we commented on this in after the election in November. Missouri, obviously a very deep red state, voted for Trump, voted for all Republican representatives, but then passed $15 minimum wage.
Right.
Right. And so there's this ability to get legislation that is popular passed that is outside of the lawmakers passing it.
Right. And it may not be like you would think it would be, I guess. Like you mentioned the minimum wage in Missouri. Then there were a number
there's been a number of abortion laws
in states that were very red. And it shows so the will of the people in these instances is really coming through. Whereas once something goes into the legislature, there's a lot of machinations that go into ever getting it on that ballot that don't necessarily reflect what you or I or any voter really wants to happen.
So this morning, Governor Evers once again is asking for changes that would give citizens a direct say in whether to amend state law or Wisconsin's constitution. So basically, he has already announced that inside of his budget proposal, which I think is going to be February 18th, he is going to suggest that we have direct referendums. Now, for this to actually happen, a lot would have to happen. So this is why I'm saying it's not really news yet, because first and foremost, it would have to pass in the legislature. So the people who continue to say, we don't really think this is a good idea, would have to be the people to actually pass it. But my bigger question is, one, to people at home, 855-616-1620, do you wish we had this? And if so, what would you hope people would organize to try to pass? And I feel like this is always a good idea. And especially right now, I think there is lots of popular legislation in Wisconsin. First and foremost, legalizing at least medical marijuana, if not recreational, because we are surrounded by it anyways. And it's basically decriminalized in all of our biggest cities. That's the big one. But it's also a slippery slope, because you lived in California.
And you brought up this example, and it came right after I left California, but I remember hearing about it. And this is the thing. We've talked about this with all the propositions and referenda that we've talked about over they are very, very confusing.
They're
and what
very
was the
confusing.
one that was this one in California, very confusing, and ended up not getting
So
what
back
people
in
wanted.
2008, I mean, obviously when we think about 2008 and that election, we think of Obama winning.
Mm-hmm.
But in California, and I had just moved to Berkeley at the time, it was also when Prop 8 was on the ballot. And Prop 8 was very, very confusing. And basically, it was a state constitutional amendment to ban same-sex marriage.
Right.
It's also correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that was the impetus to lead to what ended up getting at the Supreme Court, Obergefell.
Yeah.
And so, but why now same-sex marriage is legal.
Right.
But it was basically to vote yes meant you wanted to ban it.
Yes.
But a lot of people ultimately thought they were voting yes for
gay
marriage.
Yes.
And so for a lot of people, 2008, if you were living in California, was a lot of mixed emotions, because yes, Obama won, but also, the biggest state in the union just banned gay marriage. What does this mean for the fight for equality? So I'm very 50-50 on if this is a good idea or not, because I think it can be abused.
I agree. I think if you get any big enough special interest group, they can push through to get their idea on the ballot. If you get the right person writing these propositions, they can be as confusing as Prop 8. And then, listen, I don't care how educated you are. When we went through some of the referenda here and you were trying to explain them, it was a lot of gobbledygook at some point. So depending on who is writing it, depending on who the group is, you can make this either very easy for someone to understand and then vote how they feel, or you can make it very cloudy and murky and then hope for a decision that you kind of stole because you've sleight of hand, you've confused people and they voted opposite of their real.
Well, and there's
thoughts.
also then the sake of who raises the most money.
Right.
Right? Because you ultimately will probably have different interest groups sponsoring the bills or sponsoring the referenda, and then how much money either the opposition or the people who are trying to get it passed have. And so it becomes just like all of our politics, just kind of a money game of like who could spend the most to get the messaging out there the furthest. And that's what wins.
Think about all the issues we've heard about of people challenging school districts and school boards for certain students' rights.
Mm-hmm.
If those people get together, like you said, and they would probably have access to a lot of money. Now, does the other side have that money? Well, we'd have to see. But then it's, again, you've taken the will of the voter out of the picture anyway. So the experiment that is supposed to give us the power to make change is now just the same as anything else that we vote for. It's driven by who's got the deepest pockets.
Yeah. So, like I said, it's interesting because it's as it comes up, I think there's always the thought experiment of, is this a good thing? Yeah. If used appropriately, I do think direct democracy like that is a good thing. I just always think back to Prop 8, and not even just Prop 8 in California. They're constantly having propositions, right? Because it's the barrier because they can.
Yeah.
And so, but like I said, we're a long ways away from doing that. So if you would have, but if you had your wish list, there is a couple. So one, Jeff from Fox Point said more serious penalties for driving offenses, including drunk and stoned driving.
I like that.
From the 414. Yes, I would put a bill forward that senators and representatives would be barred from trading, buying, selling equities during their time as an elected official. Now, does that matter as much for Wisconsin representatives? Certainly, I agree with that for
on
Congress.
A federal level,
that the fact that if you just follow Nancy Pelosi's trading, you would be a very rich person.
Yes, I think it could follow for here. There's, if
but they're not as in charge, I guess.
Just because nobody's been charged with anything, it could still
I don't
be
mean charged. I mean influence. The influence of Wisconsin lawmakers over publicly traded companies. The conflict of interest doesn't seem as straightforward.
Maybe not
to
as
me.
grave. Yeah, I would have to see how many publicly traded companies are based here. There's a lot, I'm sure. And then,
I don't know.
The lobbying. I'm sure there's a lot of lobbying going on in Madison.
There is lobbying that goes on in Madison.
Anytime there's a lot of lobbying, there's a lot of money.
All right. Well, let us know. 855-616-1620. What would you organize to try to get passed as a direct referenda in Wisconsin if that were legal? And we'll be back after this.
Creative Planning presents Rethink Your Money with John Hagenson, Saturday afternoon at 2. Join John each week as he challenges financial advice you've been given and reaffirms what you know to be true. If your financial plan doesn't include taxes, insurance, estate planning, and investing, it's incomplete and you can't afford to miss out. At Creative Planning, we provide all the expertise, all the advice you need, all in-house. To learn more, visit creativeplanning.com/radio.
The holiday season may be coming to a close, but there's still plenty of time to make it a magical one. Ring in the new year with something stunning and timeless from Diamonds Direct. Start the new year with a celebration of your love, or even a celebration of yourself. Whether you're shopping for the perfect wedding bands, a beautiful pair of diamond studs that were missing from under your tree, or the engagement ring of their dreams, Diamonds Direct has just what you're wishing for. This year, make your New Year's resolution to shop smarter by shopping direct. Making a decision on where to make your next jewelry purchase has never been easier. At Diamonds Direct, you're guaranteed to get an extraordinary value, ironclad warranties, and the white glove service that we've long been known for. Let the experts at Diamonds Direct show you the difference in a concierge luxury shopping experience. Kick off the new year the way you've always wanted. Customize your experience in-store or online at diamondsdirect.com today. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
If you're living with joint pain in your shoulders, hips, elbows, and knees, and you have Medicare or Medicaid insurance, coming to Rejuvenex to solve your pain problems is something you should strongly consider. First off, because our FDA-approved pain treatments have been shown in many cases to be highly effective at reducing inflammation and substantially alleviating pain. Secondly, Medicare and Medicaid cover Rejuvenex treatments, so your cost could be nothing, or next to nothing at all. Chronic pain will only worsen with age. This leads to a far more compromised lifestyle, depression, and soon they start talking surgery. And then what? You have to get in front of arthritis and chronic pain, because the sooner you do, by letting us begin to calm those pain points, the better. I'm Rejuvenex founder Richard Salinas, and we can alleviate your pain so you can rejuvenate your life.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Go to rejuvenex.com to request your free pain evaluation.
I'm WTMJ's Sandy Max. What makes working at Three Pillars so special? Let's hear from my friend Tracy.
One of the things that enticed me about Three Pillars and wanting to work there was their stellar reputation and just being top rated. I got this job. I told people, I told family and friends and people I knew, and every single one of them was like, oh my gosh, you're going to love that place.
Find a rewarding career at threepillars.org.
It's Spanning the State. I'm Brian Noonan.
And I am Kristin Brey, and we were wrapping up our conversation around Governor Evers this morning announcing that part of his budget proposal is going to once again ask for changes that would give citizens a direct say in whether to amend state law or Wisconsin's constitution via direct referendum. And we were asking people on what they would like to see if we were to have that. And so I think this one is interesting. And I think this one is interesting to go for all elected officials, especially when we talk about Congress. But legislation to pass is from the 414. State senators and state legislators or assembly reps are paid Wisconsin's lowest state minimum wage times 2,080 hours per year. Also, no benefits unless the same benefits are offered for all state residents at the same fee or price. No more living as at the taxpayer trough.
Wow. Well, that would definitely cut down career politicians. That would be, goes back to how the whole system was designed. You're working on your farm, you go in, you do your business in Congress, and then you go back to your farm. You don't go in there and, you know, as this texter said,
well, that's the thing that I always think is a
trough.
little ironic as far as when we have conversations around state health insurance or even a conversation around like Medicare for all, is that all of our politicians who are against it, it's like, well, you get state insurance.
Right. If you had to pay for Cobra because all of a sudden you are switching jobs, maybe you'd be a little more compassionate.
Or when Congress is on the brink of a government shutdown, and yet they would still get paid.
Oh, sure. But soldiers, no pay for you. But listen, we're very important people. I don't know if you understand. We have to keep getting paid.
Here's one for the 715. I would push for an amendment that has Wisconsin join the National Popular Vote Interstate Compact. I actually don't know much about that. I guess I'm using my deductive reasoning as far as this would go to what a popular vote for.
Vote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Popular vote
there's
right
an
there.
Interesting one. What would you pass? Not that you live here.
Well, listen, I have a vested interest in things that go on here. What would I pass? I don't know. I would pass making sure that our snow is removed correctly, which we'll talk about after ABC News and local headlines.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Congress carried out its duty to formalize the 2024 election results today, the final step before President-elect Trump takes office in 2 weeks. Vice President Kamala Harris, who lost to Trump, presided over the tally, told reporters today marked a return to order after the U.S. riots at the Capitol 4 years ago.
Was about what should be the norm and what the American people should be able to take for granted, which is that one of the most important pillars of our democracy is that there will be a peaceful transfer of power.
The death toll rising from the latest winter storm that stretches from the Midwest and south to the Northeast. Officials say 2 died in Missouri, 2 others in Kansas. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau formally announced today he'll step down in March, he says in hopes of ending the stalemate in Parliament. An attack in the West Bank today killed 3 Israelis. Authorities say gunmen opened fire on a bus carrying Israelis. 3 others were injured in that attack. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited News Time, 2:31. I'm Julia Fellow. Your top story: school is back in session today at the Sussex Hamilton School District for the first time since last week's tragic accident. A 4K student was hit by a school bus and died outside Silver Spring Intermediate Thursday. Therapy dogs were on site at school this morning. They'll visit tomorrow as well. The search for a man wanted in connection to 3 deaths at a home in New Lisbon has now expanded across our state. Authorities believe Virgil Thu may have left western Wisconsin. The woman found dead in the home has been identified as Elizabeth Kolba. The 2 children found dead as well were 12 and 13 years old. 2 people rescued and 1 arrested after UTV went through the ice. Dodge County deputies and members of the Hughesford Fire Department rescued 2 men from Lake Sinisippi around 5 last night. The driver, 45-year-old Adam Malturer, and his 46-year-old male passenger were traveling north along the lake when their Polaris UTV fell through the ice. No one was hurt. Malturer was arrested for operating while under the influence. Time for news about your money, the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow is down currently 34, S&P 500 up 32, NASDAQ down 234. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Let's take a look at your roads through WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic. I see a major incident going on. US 45 South is closed at Plank Road because of a massive crash there. I'm trying to see if there's any cameras, and there aren't at this time. So it looks like it's not good. One more thing is going on. Something is closed. The left shoulder is closed because of an incident at 4194 at Rawson Avenue. I can see the 511 Wisconsin DOT cameras, but it looks like a lot of it is ice covered, so I can't see exactly what's going on, but there are slowdowns there. And there's also still pavement damage on I-43 South about a mile beyond the ramp from Mequon Road. The left lane is closed. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Tonight will be cloudy with a low of 17. Tomorrow sunny with a high of 26 degrees. Cloudy and cold Wednesday with a high of 22. Thursday mostly sunny with a high of 28 degrees. Friday, a slight chance of evening snow is possible. The high will be 20 degrees. In Madison, it's 23 degrees. In Green Bay, it's 28 degrees. In Waukesha, it's 25 degrees. Outdoor living and limited news time, 2:33.
I don't have to tell you that a lot of dust and other junk collects in your ductwork. And it doesn't just sit there. It's blowing around in your home. And that jeopardizes your home health. The commercial industrial duct cleaning system we use at Quality darn near sucked the shirt right off our tech the first time he used it. Believe me, not everybody has this powerful of a system. It's unlike any other. At Quality, you get the best duct cleaning, period. So call Quality first for your duct cleaning needs.
For the signature service you deserve.
Whether it's 24/7 emergency service or it's just time to replace your furnace, at Quality we'll be out so fast you won't even notice the heat being off. And if you're buying a high-efficiency furnace from Armstrong or Carrier, you'll qualify for state and federal tax rebates that'll pay for a big chunk of the cost. This is Anthony Zanevsky from Quality, where you'll get the signature service you deserve.
Call Quality for the signature service you deserve.
Call Quality, heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here, asking you to join me in October as my wife and I explore the magical kingdoms of Southeast Asia, from the villages of Vietnam and the temples of Cambodia to the friendly locals of Laos and the beachside resort in stunning, lively Thailand. I hope you'll join us for this unforgettable journey. Ancient and mysterious worlds of rural landscapes, bustling cities, and fascinating history in Vietnam. Explore the Chu Chi tunnels used by the Viet Cong. Experience a street food adventure through Hanoi and cherish the serenity of Hai Long Bay on a beautiful boat ride. Bangkok in Thailand, the beaches in Thailand, history, tradition, food. If you'd like more information on this great trip, send me an email. john.mercure@wtmj.com. john.mercure@wtmj.com. It's Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos. I'm super jazzed about this trip. Send me an email. I send you the info. john.mercure, MERCURE, @wtmj.com.
Snow, 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 snow. It won't be long before we'll all be there with snow.
Ah, yes. Snow is coming. It's a little bit is here today. I don't know how much I'm going to go back to my car and find, but this is Spanning the State. I am Kristin Brey.
I'm Brian Noonan, and if you remember, December 19th, Milwaukee got 4 inches of snow. Oh, now, to me and to everybody who lives in Wisconsin, 4 inches of snow is by no means a major snowstorm. No. It's an inconvenience, it's a pain, but it's not like, oh my God, we got to shut down the city. Well, that didn't hold true in some of the neighborhoods in Milwaukee. Alders from across the city have been voicing concerns that multiple neighborhoods in their districts didn't get plowed at all. This has led some to push the city to explore eliminating a city fee for snow removal. The snow removal fee paid by most Milwaukee residents has been in place for years, which I didn't know. Did you know that? Do you know you pay a snow
I should know,
removal fee?
but no.
Well, see, we're going to learn. We're going to learn some things here. The discussion by city council members comes after resident complaints about how the city manages the plowing. On Wednesday, Milwaukee's Public Works Committee will discuss, quote, evaluating mechanisms to provide a snowplow fee refund to some or all of the city residents. One of the aldermen voicing concerns is Peter Bergelis. He represents Milwaukee's 11th district. He's in the studio with us now. Thanks for being here. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Thanks so much for having me.
So now Kristin is a Milwaukee resident. She didn't know she paid a snow removal fee. What is the snow removal fee?
The snow and ice removal fee is on your fourth quarter municipal services or your water bill.
Okay.
And it's assessed based on how much frontage you have on a city-maintained street. So most lots are 40 or 50 feet, and that fee ranges from about $50 or $60.
Okay.
And
if I live in a corner,
it's the shortest. It's the shortest length.
Okay.
So what was the issue on the 19th? Because as I said, 4 inches it's snow, but it's not a huge city crushing amount.
Right. This is Milwaukee. This is Wisconsin. We know snow. We know,
right.
And we should be able to deal with it and manage it appropriately. But what residents saw in my district was that their service level for snow removal was far under their expectations. Main roads, arterials, fire routes, those were all excellent. They were dry the next day. But inside neighborhoods, those neighborhood roads that rode in front of your house, they continued to be snow-packed and ice-covered for a number of days after the snow had stopped.
Okay, well, that kind of is par for the course, right? Cities always start with the main arteries. They get those done first, and then the neighborhood or side streets get plowed after. Was this exceptionally long? Were plows not going at all? What was the difference that made this time so much different than other times?
What I saw in my district is that a lot of the local roads weren't salted, or they weren't salted well enough, or they were salted too late when temperatures had already fallen. And the result was that the roads, although passable, they were ice covered. And that's not, I don't think that should be the expectation for Milwaukee snow clearing in neighborhoods.
So is the issue more that we don't have enough trucks or enough drivers, or is it the execution that's wrong? Because it seems like there's something to be said as far as getting a refund, and there's something else as far as like fixing the problem. So which one are you more focused on right now?
Well, the city can't charge a fee for a service they don't provide.
Totally.
Right? So if you don't live on a city-maintained street, you don't pay this fee. That said, if you live on Oklahoma Avenue, your plow comes by 8 or 9 times. If you live on 49th Street, it may only come by once or twice. So is that service level the same?
Yeah.
Why are those two homes getting charged the same amount? Well, that decision was made back in 2002. We've had this snow and ice removal fee for a long time, and even if we're on tax levy and we paid for this out of our property taxes, there are a number of organizations and buildings, the county courthouse or the state office building, schools or churches that wouldn't pay property taxes and wouldn't participate in the fee. But this fee is everyone gets to participate in this fee as it's written now. What we're going to hear on Wednesday is if there is a mechanism on how we can get a refund if we don't get that service level that we're expecting in our neighborhoods for property owners, or what would the mechanism be to remove the fee altogether?
Correct me if I'm wrong. The numbers I read today is if everybody were to get a refund of this fee, it was going to be $11.3 million, correct?
Right.
That's the amount that would be left in a deficit in the city budget, $11.3 million hole. Is it feasible to think that Kristin's going to get her $60 back and everybody else is going to? And if so, where do you make up the $11.3 million?
That's the discussion that we'll have in committee on Wednesday.
Okay. Any ideas?
There are a lot of revenue sources. This year's property tax bills generally went up. Assessments went up, but we got hit by the NPS. The NPS tax levy increased 29.5%. The city's tax levy went up just 2%. MATC, the county, MMSD were all 3.2, 3.5, 3.9%. So the city increased its sales tax or its property tax levy just 2%, about half of what the county did.
Okay.
that might be an opportunity. We'll ask those questions of the comptroller and the budget office and, frankly, DPW on Wednesday.
Let's go back to something you said about the side streets and that they were passable, but they were kind of ice covered. Is there a specific guideline or measure that is acceptable service on those streets at this point?
I think residents' expectations when they live near West Allis, for example, over let's call it 65th and Harrison in my district, the residents in my district get a much different level of service than their neighbors in West Allis right down the street. Okay. But West Allis has 40 snowplows for their entire city. The city of Milwaukee has 130. And those 130 snowplows on average cover twice or more the lane miles of road that suburban snowplows do.
Okay.
So the Milwaukee trucks have to do twice as much as what other suburbs do, and we frankly see those results in our neighborhoods.
Were they all in operation on the 19th, or was there an issue with trucks not being available?
I just came from a meeting with DPW leadership.
Perfect timing.
All right.
Great timing, and there were 103 pieces of snow equipment out on the streets.
Okay.
100, and during the 2 or 3 day snow operation, there were 106 breakdowns.
Oh,
averaging 1.5 hours per breakdown of downtime.
So these are old trucks.
These are very old trucks, and the expectation is to have, the goal is to have 85% in service, which the talented mechanics at DPW keep these trucks rolling. But as a result of recent budgets, there are 14 trucks coming later, new snowplows coming into the fleet this year, and another 10 that'll be ordered in the next couple of months. So that's a 20% replacement on the fleet already after a number of years of underfunding and under budgeting for snowplows.
Today, I think it came out, your fellow Alderman Lamont Westmoreland released a scathing statement about this whole thing, and it said in part, quote, "It's time to get real and stop blowing smoke about our repeated shortcomings in regards to snow plowing. Residents and elected officials alike deserve a transparent conversation about why leadership seemingly hasn't learned lessons from past years." That's a quote from his statement. Do you agree with that? And what would that transparency look like other than, hey, we tried to plow the snow and it didn't all get plowed?
I think we're going to get a lot more specific answers on Wednesday, but we know that DPW is in the process of installing a lot more technology in the trucks. So managers can watch and see where trucks have been, and frankly, where they haven't been during snow operations, snow clearing operations. But that technology is still in the works. Last year, we had a terrible storm where we had 8 inches of snow, and then the temperature dropped and it turned to ice, and residents and neighborhoods got stranded and left untouched for a couple of days. Frankly, the plows couldn't do anything once everything iced over. That was terrible. So I think there are a number of changes that DPW has already made in their operational plan on how they plow arterials first and then get to neighborhoods within 12 or 14 hours after snow stops. But at least getting that one pass down the street is so critical so that we don't have stranded neighbors and blocked off neighborhoods where people can't get out to those arterials that are already cleared out.
Will there always be a problem in that situation? Because on the side streets, you can park. Residents are parked on the streets. So that one pass is going to block some people in, and they're going to be very upset. I would be too. I'm not saying you should be upset. But is there a way to really change the way that side streets are plowed other than getting all the cars off them? So like on the main streets, your plows can go curb to curb. On a side street, they can't. They can make that one pass, and that one pass doesn't really clean the street all the way to the ground.
By the time they get there, it's already snowpacked.
Yeah.
Right. So you have to use salt.
Right.
But salt activates when cars drive on it. So the less cars on the road, the less effective the salt really is. But the big issue remember a couple of years ago, DPW suspended parking enforcement, and people got into the habit of parking on both sides of the street at night or not worried about the alternate side parking. That's critical so that these 10-foot plow blades can get down some of these smaller streets.
Right.
Not necessarily in my district, but in other parts of town. A lack of parking enforcement has really, really impacted how well they can clear the snow.
That makes sense. So Wednesday's the big meeting. what if you were in the prediction business? Do you see residents getting money back, or do you see this just being a good jumpstart for a conversation on how to improve a problem that most major cities have?
Listen, I want to be able to charge a reasonable fee for a reasonable service.
Yep.
And if the city's not providing it, we should not be charging that fee.
Perfect. Well,
straightforward.
It'll be interesting to hear what comes out of that meeting on Wednesday. Peter Bergelis is the alderman for Milwaukee's 11th district. Thanks for coming in and enlightening us on all this. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Anytime.
All right, we'll be back with more. It's Spanning the State.
Hi, folks. This is Hank Albert, owner of BBC Lighting. Now that we're into the holiday season, it's time to celebrate with new lights and ceiling fans. And our huge award-winning showroom displays hundreds of the best quality lights and fans. There's not a brand we can't get, and our prices are the lowest, even lower than online. I guarantee it. And our knowledgeable staff is always here to assist you in making the right choices. If it's lampshades or repairs you need, we do all that too. There's something for everyone at BBC, including antiques, collectibles, fun for the kids, and our famous free popcorn. We are open Monday through Saturday and located at 20th and St. Paul Avenue, across from Sobelman's and Bachman Furniture, all near the Potawatomi Casino. Stay safe and healthy, my friends.
If better health, more energy, and detoxing your body are some of your priorities this year, get Active Liver today. You can find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS or online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com.
Shop the January New Year's sale on better quality furniture and mattresses at Ken Michaels Furniture.
Sweetie, come here. Don't worry. I see a lot of patients with the exact same thing.
Ever since the ice skating rink went in next door?
Or is it more than
Dr. Clark's business is heating up.
So many patients need my help. How will I find time to see all of them?
They need to hire a scheduler, stat.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to GoodRx.com/GLP. That's GoodRx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
Hey, WTMJ's John Burkier here. Painting is the easiest way to breathe new life into your home. I know because we did it with CertaPro Painters. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Let the pros there help you choose the right color to your home. You're going to love it for years to come. Call your neighborhood CertaPro Painter. Ask about their color consultation services. Schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. When choosing a painting professional, the choice is simple. Choose happy. Choose CertaPro Painters.
No matter how many people are in your family, buying new jackets for the cold weather months can be expensive. But when you shop St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores, prices on cold weather jackets will give you a sigh of relief because thrift store prices mean great deals. And right now we have a great selection. Find great deals on cold weather jackets for the family at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul. I believe it's time for me to fly.
I'm glad we don't have to worry about shoveling the cars out today. We haven't gotten enough snow.
We have not gotten enough snow. Although it's cold. I'm supposed to film outside on Thursday.
Why?
And I was just thinking about Nathan from earlier in the show.
Yes.
For filming February in
to do
Toma.
ice fishing, yeah.
To do ice fishing. I was like, God, how much were you outside filming? So I was filming something for Journal Sentinel.
Okay.
And looking at the weather, it's like, do we have to do this?
Well, some of the ESPN
kind of voice over this.
Some of the ESPN guys from our sister station were out at Lambeau yesterday doing stuff in the parking lot, and I was like, did you see the one? Oh, you did the one with the water.
I shared it. Was the guys from ESPN opening a water? I think it was Dylan opening a water bottle and just immediately freezing.
It was crazy. And then Alex was walking around interviewing people who were out tailgating, grilling, 5 degrees. Kudos to you. You're a little bit nuts, but I love it. I don't know how Milwaukee is about dibs. Do you practice
I feel
dibs
like
here
you've
after a
told
big
me about
snow-
dibs before, but I don't think it's a Milwaukee thing.
Okay, it's definitely a Chicago thing.
I've heard it's a Chicago thing.
Oh, man, and it's a suburban thing. It's for those who might not know, after a big snow, you move your car and you shovel out the space in front of your house, and then you park your cars there, and that's basically dibs. And some people leave things in the spot so other freeloaders don't come along and park in your spot. And there's a big division. I am 100% pro dibs. I think if you put in the effort to clear out, my neighbor and I, we clear out 3 spots, even though he needs 1 and I need 1. We clear out a lot so there's room. We work hard. Those are our spots. Because we park in those same spots when it's not snowy. So why would you think, well, it snowed, now they're not going to put their cars there? I actually, when Debbie was expecting, and right after Molly was born, there was a big snowstorm.
Okay.
And I went out and we didn't have our garage was like a shanty 1-car garage that you couldn't really put a car in. So I had shoveled out, and it took me a couple hours. This was a big snow. I had shoveled out
No
the
snowblower?
spot. No snowblower. I ran to the store because we needed something for the baby. I come back, somebody's in my spot. And I stood in the middle of the street. And I screamed, "Whose car is this? You better get out!" And all of a sudden, some woman who didn't live across the street, she was just visiting, she came running out of the house across the street. I'm sorry. I'm like, all right, move your car. And I know
because you're working off like no sleep.
Oh,
and
no sleep. I've been shoveling. I had made room for the car and some room for my neighbors so we could all get in. And then all of a sudden, oh, how dare you? How dare you? So, all
right, dibs.
Yeah, dibs. Dibs is it. I don't put out lawn furniture or statues of the Virgin
You just
Mary.
yell.
I yell. I'm more, listen, what's more intimidating? A crazed me in the middle of the street screaming or a lawn chair?
A crazed you, absolutely, hands
there
down.
There you go. Exactly right.
All right, we got to get out of here. Wisconsin's Afternoon News is next.
See ya.
He's going to fire up a 3 for the win, and he hit it! Game time has arrived! He has done it again! Cash Money Middleton to the rescue! Lobs to Giannis, who flushes it in. Lillard, 3.